Good day to everyone, and good day especially to Engineer Felix Concepcion Beroya as our guest for today's interview. First po, let us introduce ourselves po. My name is Dan Alvaro Macalo, together with,
Gabriel Ayasanday Mariano po.
and we are the first year students from Civil Engineering Department of Bulacan State University, conducting an interview on engineers of other field as a part of assessment in the subject COE 101. For this interview po, sir, we would like to ask some questions regarding your field of profession as well as your journey in engineering po. Um, let's proceed na po sa mga question. First, about po sa college life nyo. Industrial engineering po ba yung first choice niyo pong course no college or may iba po kayong kursong natitipuan po?
Okay. So I'm not aware na hindi pala IE students yung mag-interview sa akin. So, yeah. Most of the time, yun yung tanong sa akin ng mga IE students kapag nagtotalk ako. First choice ko daw ba ang industrial engineering? So to be completely honest, hindi. I actually recorded my newest episode sa bagong bagong gawa kong YouTube channel for IE. And sinabi ko doon, kanina lang, na hindi ko siya first choice. I didn't even know that there is an engineering course when I was in high school. Ganon ako ka-clueless about engineering. And then, but because quizzer tayo nung high school, nanalo tayo ng parang scholarship from Batangas State University for an engineering degree. So kaya nagpunta tayo sa engineering. But supposedly, I was about to take education. Gusto ko maging
Ah,
teacher. So nagpunta ako dun sa field ng engineering. And then of course, I didn't know that there's an engineering degree or program. So hindi ko din alam kung ano yung mga major. So parang sige, nandyan yung scholarship. So let's just take it. So I took that. And then nung panahon namin, unlike ngayon 4 years na lang sa engineering, dati 5 years, no? Sa mga state university, usually ang format niya 2 years general engineering. So meaning wala ka pang major. Pag nag third year ka, doon ka pa lang magte-take ng qualifying exam. Based sa kung anong score mo, yung maabot ng score mo, doon ka pwedeng ma-qualify doon sa gusto mong major. So, nung time na yon, nag-take ako ng exam. Kami, magkaklase. So, qualified naman ako dun sa gusto kong major. Pero kasi nga, nasa satellite campus kami, wala kami sa main campus. So, parang yung inyo-offer lang doon is IE. That's why nag-decide ako na mag-IE. But then eventually, nung third year kami, nalipat din kami sa main campus kasi sobrang konti lang nung IE dun sa satellite campus. So, to answer your question, hindi ko siya choice at all. Parang doon na lang ako napunta by, siguro by divine intervention, as I always say.
Okay. Thank you po, sir. Let's proceed po sa next question. Tell us something about your college life naman po. Kamusta po? Like, what is the hardest part of being a college student? Nahirapan ka po ba sa mga subject niyo before or what?
Yeah, so talking about college life, so sabi ko nga hindi ko naman gusto yung course na yun. Ayoko talaga ng math. So, you would imagine a non-mathematical logical person na parang avid hater of math napunta sa isang engineering degree. So, you can just imagine the stress, the parang hala, ito na naman yung subject na to, even algebra. Even algebra ayoko talaga. Pero nung college, to be honest, doon ko lang naintindihan talaga yung pinaka foundations na hindi ko natutunan or naintindihan nung high school. So kaya medyo parang na-appreciate ko din siya eventually. Pero when I talk about, so when we talk about mga subjects nung college, special yung major subjects kasi ng IE, madami, kumbaga, engineering eh. So, kahit pa sabihin niya yung IE kasi, kung hindi kayo familiar, wala kasing board exam yung IE. So, parang, nung panahon namin, ang tingin sa IE, mas mababang antas or level ng engineering degree or specialization compared sa may mga board exams. So parang akala ko din noon, madali lang siguro to kasi walang board exam. Yung pala, mahirap din. Parang sobrang daming mathematics, especially statistics kasi yun yung, kumbaga, ginagamit namin na fundamental na modeling tool when it comes to pag-model ng mga process or ng mga pag-simulate ng mga kumbaga variable sa isang process para makuha namin yung isang output, no? So kung sa ibang engineering merong ano yung timpla ng semento at saka ng sand para makuha mo yung gantong consistency ng ano for civil engineering graduates or civil engineers. So sa mechanical engineer, anong setup ng machines, ganyan. So sa IE, may ganun din. Parang, but it's more of ano yung mga process parameters na tinatawag that we need to set at this particular level para makuha namin yung optimal na result. So, ganun siya. So, you can just imagine, puro din siya math. Puro din siya parang science-based na mga approaches na parang kung hindi ka familiar dun sa nature ng program, akala mo madali lang siya. So, personally, no, naging mahirap siya in a way kasi nag-maintain din ako ng scholarship. So, kaya parang more than dun sa mahirap na yung subject, ang iniyakan ko mga subject actually yung subject ng civil engineering, statics of rigid bodies, dynamics of rigid bodies, statics, tsaka strength of materials. Yan yung talagang, kung pwede lang skip ko, i-skip ko yan. Pero, ah, syempre, required ng program. So, mahirap na siya, basically, mas naging mahirap kasi nga, yun nga, nami-maintain ako ng scholarship. So, yun. Pero, na-enjoy ko naman. Kahit mahirap, na-enjoy ko naman yung journey. Yan.
Thank you po, sir. Third question po tayo. From what you've experienced po, if you're given a chance to retake your program again as a student, what difference would you make po?
Wow, that's actually a very good question. Napaka-reflective. Ako lagi kong sinasabi, during my time, though I'm a scholar, for what it's worth, I also graduated as the first cum laude for program sa Bat State U, sa Batangas State.
Ah,
Kasi scholar ako. Yun lang yun, dahil scholar ako. Nagkataon na yung mini-maintain kong scholarship ay same ng minimum requirements para makapag-apply ka ng Latin Honor. Tapos yung average ko, kung 1.75 to 1.5 kasi yung cum laude sa amin sa Bat State U. Yung average ko 1.74. So parang pero it's not in the plan, no? So so fast forward dun sa pinakasagot, no? Kung ite-take ko siya ulit at may babaguhin ako, siguro yun yung mas sana naging seryoso ako dun sa mga subjects ko. Kasi dumating ako sa point and hindi ko to sinasabi para gayahin ako ng mga makakarinig or makakanood nito. Dumating ako sa point na na-addict din ako sa mga computer games. Dumating ako sa point na fourth year, parang first term, hindi ako masyado pumapasok. Kalahati nung term, hindi ako pumapasok. Kasi na-addict ako sa paglalaro ng computer games, specifically Dota. Hanggang ngayon, naglalaro pa rin naman ako ng Dota 2. So, um, siguro yun. Hindi ko siya tatanggalin, pero siguro parang mas i-regulate ko siya at saka mas magiging seryoso ako dun sa mga subjects. Kasi um, parang dumating ako sa point na parang compliance na lang talaga siya for the subject. And I think common naman for students na ang maging mode is more of compliance rather than, alam mo yun, kung wala kang mini-maintain na scholarship, kung okay lang naman, di ka naman pinipressure ng parents mo. Kumbaga kung kagaya nung karamihan or nung general or majority na ng mga estudyante, parang survival mode. Pero parang sabi ko nga, siguro kung mas na-appreciate ko lang kung para saan to. Kung may nakapagsabi lang na ito, seryosohin mo yung subject na to kasi kunwari yung statistics na lang, hindi ko talaga siya masyado sineryoso. Pero nung nagtrabaho ko, yung pala yung gagamitin ko. Kaya sabi ko lagi sa mga estudyante, sana pala hindi ako lagi umiihi nun pag stat na subject kasi parang ang dami ko na-miss out. Parang ganon. So siguro yun, mas bawasan yung mga bagay na hindi naman nakaka-contribute sa pagiging estudyante ko or kumbaga yung magiging professional ko. Not exactly tanggalin, bawasan lang. And then mas dagdagan yung oras sa mga bagay na nagmamatter or magmamatter pagka-graduate ko or as a student habang nandun ako sa learning process. Kasi pagdating mo sa labas, medyo iba na eh. Kumbaga, hindi na siya kagaya talaga sa university na may mag-guide sa'yo or though sa university naman I understand, nagturo din ako sa university, hindi naman siya spoon feeding. Which is yun naman talaga dapat yung mode natin for the university. So yeah, basically those are the things na kung may babaguhin ako, yun.
Okay po, sir.
Ayun po. So, yun po, sir po. Ngayon po na nakwento niyo na po sa amin po ang inyong college life po. Let's move on po sa may questions about your career po. Sa first question po namin po. Nung nag-graduate po kayo, sir po, how was the job hunt po, the job market po? Nahirapan po ba kayong maghanap po ng job initially po at makapasok po sa mga kumpanya po ba, sir?
Sige. Um, popular opinion, sasabihin lagi ng mga tao na pag IE ka, madaming opportunity, which is very true naman. But during my time, even though I graduated as cum laude, I really find it difficult to land a job during the time, no? Um, siguro, sabihin natin mga 7 to 10 applications or so. Dami kong in-applyan noon, nagpa-interview din ako. I got frustrated also na bakit ganun? Parang maganda naman yung profile ko, 'di ba? Honor graduate ako tapos parang active ako na student leader. Bakit ganun? Walang kumukuha sa akin. So, hindi naging madali personally para sa akin yung process ng pag-apply. Yun nga, with all those rejections. Ang naging first job ko actually ay pagtuturo pa din. Bumalik ako sa pagtuturo kasi yung din namin during the time, sabi niya, kung available pa si Mr. Veroya, si Engineer Veroya, edi tawagin nyo, pagturuin nyo muna kasi kailangan natin ng faculty sa IE. And then, um, kumbaga, coincidence lang din na magte-take nga ako may exam kasi yung IE, wala kaming board pero meron kaming certification exam. So nung time na yon ang exam will be November 20. So I graduated sometime April. Tapos para nagkatrabaho ko yun nga, June na siya. And then, so sabi ko, sige, maximize ko na lang din. Since wala pang review centers noon, ang naging arrangement namin with my department chairman during that time, Dr. Amorado, na sige, magturo ka, bibigay ko sa mga subjects na ayaw mo para makapag-review ka in a way din habang nagtuturo ka para, kumbaga, two birds in one stone. So, that happened. And then, after ko namang mag-sign ng contract kay BSU, kay Batangas State, tumawag naman yung San Miguel. So, San Miguel Beer. Nasabi, sige, kailangan namin ikaw. Pwede bang mag, ano ka sa amin? Sabi ko, as much as I want, um, kumbaga with all compensation and what not benefits, Sunwheel is a very good company, 'di ba? It's being targeted by, a lot of graduates. Pero ako during the time, hindi ko din alam, ay San Miguel, okay, alam ko lang na they sell items
Here.
like a lot of things, 'di ba, as a conglomerate. Pero ako parang hindi ko siya dream company din na ano. Biglang dumating nga yung opportunity. And then yun nga lang, sala sa timing kasi naka-sign na ako. So sabi ko, sorry, kasi ito yung first company nagtiwala sa akin, I have to say no, ganyan. And then nung time naman na parang natapos yung term ko sa o yung one term ko sa pagtuturo, bukas pa din yung position. So tinawag ulit nila, nag-call back sila. Sabi nila, are you parang open to reconsider, ganyan. Sabi ko, sige, parang sakto na wala na akong commitment, sabi ko. Kasi parang contractual basis naman yun sa pagtuturo. So yun, I went to San Miguel naman. So from teaching to logistics and supply chain naman na type ng job. So ang trabaho naman nun is more of yun nga, making sure na yung beer products are available sa mga stores and sa mga mall, sa mga outlets, sa kung saan pwedeng bumili ng beer products. So, yun yung naging journey ko for the first part. And then the rest was, exploring other areas of industrial engineering.
Buti sir, nagsikap kayo sir po na ano po sir, makapasok kayo sir po. At dahil po sa tulong po nung inyong din po, na dagdagan po sir yung experience niyo po sir. At narating niyo po sir kung saan po kayo nakarating ngayon po. At ngayon po sir, currently sir, open po ba kayo sir masabi po sir kung ano po kayo ngayon po sir po? yung job po description?
Okay. So, currently, hindi na ako nagpa-practice sa corporate kasi may so sige, bigyan ko kayo ng context. So after ng 3 years sa San Miguel, so nakapasa ako ng exam, um and then since nag-top ako sa exam namin, nag-top 4 ako, may mga tao na lumapit sa akin, pwede ka bang makuha na parang partner sa pagtatayo ng review center kasi kanina 'di ba wala kang review center as I mentioned. So nagtayo kami ng review center habang nasa San Miguel ako. And then eventually nag full time ako dun sa review center after 3 years sa San Miguel as a consultant. Parang gusto kong matry yung consulting na work kasi yung IE pwede siyang maging consultant din for businesses kasi nga process oriented, etc., etc. So that happened. So 1 year yon. And then pero yung year na yun din tinawagan naman ako ng isang company sa Laguna, manufacturing siya ng mga parts ng hard drive storage devices as process senior engineer, process excellence senior engineer. So yung trabaho very IE, mag-improve ng process, mag-problem solving, ganun project management. So tinanggap ko yon and then eventually I got promoted, naging process excellence manager ako. Hanggang sa naka 3 years ako doon, sometime 2019 nag-resign na ulit ako. Kasi gusto ko mag-focus doon sa business. So, pamula 2019, nung nag-pandemic hanggang ngayon, nandun ako sa business namin, sa training and consulting firm namin. So, ito yon yung logo na to. Saan ba? Ito.
Ah,
So, it's Aslex PH Academy. Pwede nyo hanapin sa social media. So, makikita nyo kahit sa website aslexph.com, ginagawa namin, we do provide training and then certification ng mga certain skill sets. So one of which is project management. Quick trivia, yung NU, National University, some of the campuses, kami yung nagsiserve sa mga civil engineering students nila na third year at fourth year, tinatrain namin sa project management. Tapos kami rin certify din namin sila. So ganun yung trabaho na ginagawa namin nung business ko. So yun. Yun yung ginagawa ko ngayon. At saka yung wife ko kasi so happen, classmate ko from high school hanggang college, IE din siya. So, yun na yung ginagawa namin ngayon. Hindi na kami affiliated sa company. Kumbaga, may own na kaming small company.
thank you po, sir. Ngayon, sir po, magiging open po ba kayo, sir,
Yes.
i-describe, sir, yung inyong day-to-day po, sir po? Routine po, sir. Kung open lang po kayo naman, sir.
Um, Sige. Yung routine ko, nakuha ko lang din sa nung nag-work na ako. Kasi syempre, when you work kasi, meron kang specific na roles and responsibilities. So regardless kung may sarili kang negosyo or empleyado ka, ang routine ko ngayon is syempre gigis from morning. Hindi ako early morning person.
Morning first.
Nocturnal kasi ako eh. So natutulog ako alas 2, alas 3 na madaling araw. Ang work phase ko ay medyo kakaiba. Pero syempre nung nagwo-work ako, maagang gigising ganyan. And then yung routine is basically pasok ka sa work, magche-check ka ng email, tapos kung ano yung to-do list mo for the day, meeting dito, meeting doon, tapos gawa ng project, ganyan. So that was before. Ito ngayon, it's more of since business naman na siya, so gigising, magbe-breakfast, magche-check ng email, tapos to-do list, more of meeting pa din pero business development meetings, calling in clients, checking with their requirements. So may gusto ng ganitong training, so syempre tatanungin ano po ang requirements nyo, paano namin kayo matutulungan, paano namin kayo masaserve, etc., etc. And then we design the programs, ganyan, and then ibabato namin for approval. Sometimes, yun, may turo ako kasi I still teach as part of the teaching force or training force ng business. Ako yung pinaka-lead consultant and trainer. So sometimes we go to the offices of the client, sometimes we go to the schools. So we run the training, ganyan, we facilitate the exams. And from time to time, of course, there are regular parang meetings, catch-up meetings with team members kasi we are about maybe 10 or so in the team. So may mga ganun kaming mga meetings na ginagawa. What else? And then yun, I also do the design of the programs. So programs meaning parang yung mga courses. So kung may mga bagong courses na kailangan, ako yung nagdi-design. Tapos ipinapasok ko dun sa isang tao ko to create the materials, the modules, and whatnot. And then ako din yung basically ako yung nagtuturo muna. And then kapag na-test, na pilot ko na siya, saka ko pinapasa sa ibang mga, or nagtitrain ako ng ibang mga tao from my team, consultants, para hindi lang ako yung marunong mag-run ng program na yon, etc. So, yun. And then I also, part of my, ngayon hindi na masyado, pero part ng ginagawa ko din, nag-aaral kasi ako nagpi-PhD kasi ako ngayon sa Mapua. So, sometimes nagre-revise ng paper. So I do a lot of things kasi madami din akong bukod dun sa firm, marami rin akong ginagawang ibang bagay. May mga mental health projects ako, may mga startup projects ako on the sides, nagme-mentor ako across Southeast Asia. So medyo madami siya. It's really a bunch of, things.
Thank you po, sir po. Ah, if kung tatanungin po kayo, sir po, lahat po ba, sir, ng nalaman niyo po, sir, sa college po ay shoot na shoot po, sir, para sa may naging career niyo po na ginagamit niyo po, sir po? Or meron po talaga mga bagay na experience lang po talaga makakatulong sa inyo po, sir?
Well, to be honest, from what I have experienced, um, yung mga principles, this is from my perspective as an IE, na yung mga principles naturo siya dun sa school. I mean, kunwari yung principle ng gantong subject, let's say, ano ba, may subject kaming may mga mahirap kami subject na parang ano eh. For example, operations research. Parang isa na yun sa para sa akin, hindi ko sure para sa ibang mga IE. Kasi yun talaga modeling, may math, may differential, may mga matrix algebra, mga ganon. So parang okay. Na-appreciate ko yung concept. Nung nagtrabaho ako, well, part nung sa school, meron kami mga projects na actual problem from the companies. We have to apply the ano. Pero nung nasa field na ako, mas doon ko na-appreciate na, okay, ito pala yung sinasabi nila na ganito yung application kasi ganito siya gagawin. And then doon ko din na-realize na, kunwari, yung work ko doon sa sinasabi ko nung lumipat ako as manager na, process improvement manager, parang ganon. Pinagawa kami ng regression, hindi ko sure kung nag-stat na kayo, yung regression model ng isang problem. Sabi ko, ginagawa pala talaga sa totoong buhay yon. So, nung ginawa ko siya, parang nagulat ako na, yun yung parang realization ko na, okay, dapat pala nag-aaral ako ng statistics pa kasi stat-based to. So, na-refine yung concept dun sa actual na work. So, apple to apple. Pero hindi lahat. Hindi lahat. Kumbaga parang may mga concepts na lagi mong gagamitin or madalas mo magagamit. Merong very seldom or almost hindi. Depende siguro sa work na ginagawa mo. Pero sa case ko nga, ang naging kwento ko ay more of, okay, ito nakita ko, sana pala mas naging seryoso nga ako as I mentioned earlier. Tapos parang akala ko very ideal, kunwari stat na lang or kahit anong math or any subject na, 'di ba usually galing lang sa book yung data mo. Unlike dun sa ano, kukuhanin mo siya. So yung reality ng ay ganito pala kahirap yun. Pag pala kinuha mo hindi pala siya plug and play na ibilalagay mo lang sa formula. Ang dami pa palang pre-processing, so ganyan ganyan. So and that doon na papasok yung experience. Pag na-experience mo na siya, alam ko na yan kasi nung very ideal, akala ko ganito lang kasimple. Pero ngayon alam ko na, ito yung diskarte, ganito gagawin para mas madali niya. So it's really a combination of what you've learned in the school as a form of concepts, but your experience would definitely refine that and would make you a wiser person or engineer in the process.
Ayun po, thank you po, sir po. Ngayon, sir, kung pwede niyo po, sir, ikwento po sa amin po, sir. Ano po yung pinakamalaking problema po na na-face niyo po sa mismong work niyo po, sir po?
Siguro yung isang project ko na malaki talaga. I would not say well, it's a problem of the organization. And then eventually I was tasked by our GM to come up with a way to solve this particular issue. So ang issue, just to give you some context, kailangan naming magdagdag ng machine, mag-decide kung bibili kami ng bagong machine, which will cost us millions of dollars, US dollars, during the time. So ang task ko since I was the manager assigned to the improvements and whatnot, is to create a framework or an approach that would be able to address that particular concern. So parang from a long list of processes, let's just say 10 processes, pumili lang muna kami ng pinaka-critical na process, and then we will have to create the success story of whatever framework I will be introducing para ma-solve yung issue ng kung bibili pa ba tayo or hindi natin kailangan bumili. So that was a very big project. As I mentioned, worth of millions of dollars of project. It took me, originally it's supposed to happen in 6 months, but it was dragged until 9 months kasi sobrang dami ng factors na kinoconsider, ang daming ang daming mga nangyaring uncertainties, dumating sa point na parang the GM is following up with all the status and whatnot. So GM is general manager, the acting like head of the organization because this is a multinational company. So and to a point hindi na siya mentally healthy sa akin kasi umuwi ako late night na tapos matutulog lang ako maya-maya magigising ako kasi I'm thinking about the project paano siya magmo-move kasi parang hindi option yung mag-fail ka. Ang option lang is maging successful yung project. Bahala ka kung paano mo papatakbuhin yung project. And um 2019, so parang 7 years, 8 years pa lang ako sa industry noon. And in the company, running third year. So parang ang bigat ng responsibility. But because of the help of all the help of the people that I was able to work with, and these are different kumbaga professionals from different backgrounds, may engineering, may finance, may business, ganyan. We were able to pull off the project. And then after nun, since sobrang hirap, sabi ko ayoko na. Nabigyan ko na kayo ng picture ng ganito yung gagawin nyo, susundin nyo na lang. Kung tama nyo gagawin, ma-replicate nyo na siya sa ibang mga process para makuha nyo rin yung benefits dun sa nangyari dun sa first project na yon. So I actually resigned from the that was 2019 when I decided to become full-time right before the year of the pandemic. So, yun yung challenge. Managing all the uncertainties given that you are required to deliver this much of, value and benefit coming from one project. I hope I was able to answer your question.
So, sunod ko pong tanong po, sir. Kung mag-name kayo, sir, ng mga skills, sir, na tingin niyo po ay pinaka-importante po para maging successful po kayo sa field po niyo po. Ano po yun?
Well, I always tell this to younger IE students. Una, 5 yon, no? I call it the 5 Cs. Letter C. Una, you have to learn how to apply complex problem solving. So when you say complex problem solving, kailangan may structured approach ka paano mo isosolve ang mga problema sa company mo or sa company mo papasukan mo or sa process na mapapa-assign sa'yo. Pangalawa, you have to be a critical thinker, critical thinking. So, sa dami ng nangyayari sa mundo ngayon, kailangan marunong kang mag-filter ng mga bagay na pumapasok at ginagamit mo para mag-decide ka sa mga bagay-bagay. Sa career mo, sa trabaho mo, ganyan, in general. So, yung paggamit ng data at pagtatanong ng tamang tanong, I always tell this, learn how to ask the right questions. That's being part of being a critical thinker. Yan. I always tell that there is no wrong answer, only wrong questions. Pangatlo, kailangan creative ka. Kumbaga, meron kang sense of creativity. So when we talk about creativity, it's basically thinking differently. So kung tingin mo ganito gumagana yung isang bagay, kasi sa IE perspective, lagi may sinasabing there's always a better way. So kung sa tingin mo ganito gumagana isang bagay pero nakikita mo na pwede pa itong ma-improve, may igaganda pa. So yun yung parang bakit natin i-try ito, 'di ba? Thinking differently. Bakit hindi ganito natin siya gawin, etc. So that's thinking differently. That equates to what we call creativity. Pang-apat, communication. Kahit gagano kagaling ang utak mo, kung hindi mo kayang mag-communicate sa ibang tao, hindi mo kayang sabihin na ito yung gusto mo mangyari para maging maganda yung resulta ng ginagawa mo o ng project mo or whatever, ng trabaho mo, wala yung sense. Kung hindi mo kayang i-translate yan sa mga bagay na kayang maintindihan ng mga kasama mo, nagtutunog German ka or whatever kasi hindi mo ma-laymanize yung isang bagay, yun yung problema. Kailangan papasok doon yung communication, no? Yung communication, maraming klase, merong non-verbal, may verbal, may written, so yun, iba-iba. Panglima, dun sa C's collaboration. So, I always tell younger people, kung nasa university ka at may ginagawa kayong group project, tumulong ka. Mag-participate ka, learn the dynamics of how a team works. Kasi kapag hindi mo yun natutunan, mahirapan ka paglabas mo. Kasi paglabas mo, hindi naman nangyayari mga bagay on your own. Laging meron kang kasamang mga tao na coming from different backgrounds, coming from different perspectives. So kung hindi mo yun natutunan ng college, kawawa ka. Eh, yan na yung way of work in the modern, kumbaga, era. So, laging 5 C's lang yon. Dapat marunong man ng complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, communication, tsaka collaboration.
And po, sir po, throughout your career po, sir, napansin niyo po ba po na nagbago po ang mismong field po ng industrial engineering po? Meron po bang mga pagbabago na napansin po kayo?
Well, when it comes to changes, well, typically when we were in the university, usually ang maririnig namin is punta kayo sa mga manufacturing facilities. Pero right now kasi, the the modern landscape of work, sobrang dami niyang pwedeng puntahan ng isang IE. Ang lagi kong nile-lecture sa younger IEs ay ganito, ang IE ay process-oriented. Well, lahat naman ng engineering field, may mga nang bash pa sa akin before nung isang post ko sa social media since I'm also doing content in social media. Na hindi lahat naman ng engineer ay process-oriented. Pero sabi ko kasi, kami kasi yung nagda-diagnose, nagdi-design, nag-i-improve ng process. So, nagbago siya in a way na mas naging open ang yung mga bagong or yung mas batang IE graduates na hindi lang manufacturing ang pwede nilang puntahan na area of work. Pwede na sila sa service, sa mga BPO, sa mga technology companies, sa mga financial institutions, sa mga schools, sa construction, pwede na din. So, for as long as merong process, doon pwedeng pumunta ang isang industrial engineering graduate or industrial engineer. So, yun siguro yung nakita kong pinakamalaking shift when it comes or change when it comes to the landscape of how IEs are being employed or go to different industries.
Ngayon po, sir po, punta po tayo sa mga ano po, general thoughts po tungkol po dun sa may mismong field po, sir po. Sa opinion niyo, sir po, bukod po sa ngayon po mga current developments po na napansin niyo po, sir po, meron po ba kayong future po na gusto po makita po sa may industrial engineering pa po?
Future for industrial engineering. Siguro, since the way we are being trained in the university is to really for problem solving and process improvement. I had the post, maybe for what it's worth, if you could check my Facebook and nakapinyon, an open letter to the government for all the things that's happening in the government. We always say na there should be industrial engineers embedded into the government. Kasi wala kasi ngayon hindi masyado, well, sabihin natin wala talagang presence, no? So siguro, in behalf of every Filipino engineers na nagmamalasakit sa Pilipinas, yun sana yung makita natin na change, na makita yung value ng isang industrial engineer that could help improve the processes, not just the industrial processes or the corporate processes, but also the government processes and services. So, siguro yun yung gusto kong makita, na magkameron ng strong collaboration yung mga industrial engineers to the national government. Pero ito yung sina-champion ko kasi pag meron lumalapit sa aking mga estudyante, naghahanap ng thesis, ng capstone, fourth year, third year, fourth year, ang sinasabi ko, pumunta kayo sa mga local government units nyo. Tanungin nyo sa community nyo, ano ba yung mga pwede nyong itulong sa kanila? Ano yung pwedeng mag-act kayo as, kumbaga, problem solvers within your community. Kasi yun yung magki-create ng, okay, ito, ginawa to ng isang IE. So, then, these small things can now be a greater collective na pwede pala, meron nga palang kumbaga meron pala talagang value kapag nag-integrate or kapag binibigyan ng chance ang mga industrial engineer to be part of solving problems and issues, especially yung societal and something that's related to the government. So siguro yun yung ano ko talaga, yung gusto kong makita. When it comes to non-government siguro related, and I think in generally speaking, this goes for every engineering graduate. I've been talking to, presidents of companies, mga country heads and directors of multinational companies. Ang litanya nila, ang kanilang mga insights are always the same, that it's quite saddening to hear, but yung level or yung quality ng mga engineering graduates ay bumababa. Um, and there are a lot of factors. So siguro ang ano ko lang is not only for IE but for all the engineering fields, sana mas maging na mas maging critical thinker tayo. Bumalik yung competency ng mga graduates ng engineering to kung bakit nga ba tayo tinawag na or bakit tayo tatawaging engineer, 'di ba? So yun kasi yung medyo nawawala na probably because of all the things that and the developments that are happening. So yun. So that goes, I think, not only for IE but for every engineering discipline.
Thank you po, sir, po sa insight niyo po sa future po ng industrial. Actually, not just industrial engineering kasi almost applies po sa lahat po ng engineering po, sir po. Thank you po, sir po. Tapos, ganun nga po, sir po. Yung sabi po niyo po, sir, yung quality po ng mga engineering graduates po na babarating po, sir, mababa po, sir po. Pero minsan po, sir, yung mga colleges po, nag-ano po, inire-raise po nila yung mga standards po at saka yung curriculum po, sir po. Pero minsan po yung pag-raise po ng curriculum at standards po nun, tapos sa may mismong mababang potential na po agad po nung mga students po natin up to date po, meron po ba kayong advice sa kanila ho? Para ma-survive po nila po at maging better sila afterwards po, sir.
Siguro as a general advice, since yun nga, as you mentioned, I would anchor into the idea of there's a lot of developments that happening. Okay lang yun. I mean, AI is there. Use AI. No one will stop you. Even faculty members, the university, they will say na don't use. But of course, we know the reality. Students use AI. Diba? So it's really, we are in the times that the landscape is changing. So I guess everyone should adjust, not only students but also faculty, the university, etc., etc. So with all this, sabihin natin richness of the technology that's before us. The only thing that would be detrimental is if we just rely into the sole result of the technology or whatever emerging um thing yan, no? Na parang kung ano yung output yun, natatanggapin na natin. Kaya nawawala yung critical thinking, no? So ang suggestion ko for younger people that would want to survive, adapt whatever emerging trend is happening that you think is gonna be helpful for you in the future. Adapt. Hindi naman pabalik ang mundo, 'di ba? I mean, walang hindi na yung babalik sa Stone Age unless kung nanonood kayo ng anime, yung Doctor Stone, 'di ba? Kung meron tayong biglang makaisip na gawin tayong bato suddenly. Pero, realistically speaking, we're moving forward, no? So adapt as early as possible, but of course, do not saturate the idea of learning really and integrating the real value of adapting to this kind of technology, which is us doing work probably faster, easier, but also smarter in a way that we know why we are using this. We know why we adopt, we acquired this, whatever result of these emerging technologies might be. So siguro ganon, just to maintain the identity of being an engineer. That's data-driven, critical thinker, analytical, etc., etc. Kasi I strongly believe and champion that, these technologies, if used properly, would really produce a lot of good things. But if used improperly, in the other, kumbaga, on the other way or the other way around could also mean, or result to negative consequences and even harm people in the process. So, yun siguro yung gusto kong i-share sa younger people. Kasi mas ano na kayo eh, kumbaga technology, what do you call this? Driven and savvy and whatnot compared to your predecessors. So, gamitin lang ng tama. Yun lang siguro yung ano. At wag mawala ang identity bilang isang engineer in the process.
Ayun po, sir. Thank you po, sir.
Last question na po, sir. Ano po yung message niyo po sa mga aspiring engineering students po?
Um, Siguro ano, I'm not quite sure what's your reason why you took engineering. For my story, it's not on my plan. But during the process or after the process of completing my degree in industrial engineering, I have found my purpose. Specifically, I value really education. So I integrated what I know about industrial engineering, building systems, improving systems in the process. So siguro ang sa akin lang, if you are listening to this video or hearing whatever I'm saying right now, know how you can use whatever you acquire from the university and from your experience moving forward as an engineer, regardless of your specialization, to really help people have a better life. I'm not saying that you have to solve world hunger. If you can, why not? But if you can apply the things that you have learned, both from school and from your experience, in solving some problems that our fellow, not only Filipino or maybe some, kung ibang bansa kayo sa ibang bansa, is experiencing, that would be the ultimate application of what we call engineering. Siguro yun yung gusto kong iwan na challenge sa mga mas batang engineer na kagaya nyo.
Thank you, sir. That is such a powerful message that I hope someday would reach those who need it. And that also concludes our interview po, Tito. And we were left with such insight and inspiration for this session. And we hope that those insights will be useful for our engineering journey and for others as well. Once again, thank you po, Sir Felix, for your time and effort for this interview po. Thank you po, sir.